next session, that is delivering digital reward experiences.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. I think it was a great session, a lot of insights there. This is our first event related to loyalty and retention. I think there were some really great points from all the panelists about acquiring new customers, retaining existing customers, and what are all the strategies which we need to keep in mind, be aware of. Now, one of the main aspects when it comes to loyalty and retention is the kind of rewards you give to your customers, right? It's a very important aspect, mainly because you want to reward your customers when they're loyal to you. Now, a lot of people, a lot of companies design rewards, but I don't think there is enough emphasis on the experience of delivering a reward, right? And that is what I want to talk about, probably, delve a bit deeper into delivering digital reward experiences. Right? Before that, just a brief introduction. I'm Santhosh Reddy. I'm a co-founder and CTO at ShakeDeal. Just a brief introduction. We started ShakeDeal in 2016. Me and my co-founders, and then Aura Ventures, a PE equity firm from US, partnered with us in 2018. And then we started ShakePe, which is our gifting and rewards vertical of it, right? And a few stats so far, and so far we have dispersed close to 300 CR worth of rewards. And in terms of touch points, the end user touch points, close to 100,000. And we have 100 plus clients whom we have catered to so far, right? And these are some of our client lists. As you can see, we are industry agnostics and category agnostics. You see oil and gas, you see healthcare, you see banking, and you see manufacturing, everything. And mainly because this is, it's not specific to rewards, and recognition is not specific to a particular industry, right? Now, if you want to deliver a great digital reward experience, based on our experience of dealing with multiple different clients in various different industries, we think there are three important aspects, right, to keep in mind to deliver a great reward experience. And we call it the 3 S's of delivering a great reward experience. One is seizing the moment. What do I mean by seizing the moment, right? Now, especially when you're rewarding your customer, delivering it at the right time is very, very important, right? Be it as simple as a birthday reward, or when your channel partner achieves a certain sales target. Now, if you deliver it one day earlier or later or something like that, it will not have the same kind of impact what you'd like to have. What your end customer they need to see it, they need to feel it, right? So seizing the moment is a very, very important aspect when it comes to delivering a reward. Second, now, if you have to deliver the rewards at the right time, at the right moment, what's important is the experience to dispersing those rewards needs to be as simple as possible. Now, this is for whom? This is for the team or the department who's in charge of actually dispersing those rewards. For example, let's say in a company, if it is a HR manager who's in charge of, let's say, delivering all the birthday rewards, or let's say a spot awards or whatever it is, for him or her, it needs to be as simple as possible, right? If he has to, touch base with, let's say, 10 different departments, and then through different mediums like email, this portal, that portal, and all that, if the entire process becomes cumbersome, it is not simple, and you will not be able to seize the moment, right? And the third aspect is basically make it as seamless and joyful for the end user who is actually consuming the reward. A very, very important aspect of it. Many people, think about, they take it for granted in the sense that, we are giving them a reward, so let's just give them a reward, right? But if for the end customer, for the end user, if that experience is not delightful enough, then you'll not have the same kind of impact what you'd like to have. You're giving him a reward, great, but if he can experience that, by making it as seamless as possible, it'll stay in his mind for a much longer time, right? So, today I don't want to talk too much about our products, but rather what we do is, these are all the different offerings, what we do at ShakePe. One related to consumer promotions, and then we have influencer incentivization, and also channels and sales incentivization. So instead of talking our products, we spoke about 3 S's of delivering great rewards, right? So I'd like to walk you through some of the use cases of our existing clients, where you can see how we went about delivering the entire reward experiences for our clients. Let's start with consumer promotions. So we developed a solution for a leading private bank. Now let's understand what are all some of the existing problems what they had, right? First, whenever they wanted to give out a certain reward or incentive to their customers, because this being a bank, they had to plan it much earlier, and they had to interact with a lot more teams, internal teams, and then all this communication used to happen via different channels, some of them via email, some of them via their ERP and all that. So what we did was basically, we delivered a solution which we brought in all the different departments together into one single platform. And then we gave them improved data analytics in the sense that, how long does it take for a campaign to be approved? And let's say once it reaches an end customer, whether enough data from the end customer is available to the right set of people. The fact that all this data was available in single platform for them, it was a great experience. And also, like I was talking about, because there were a lot of internal teams which were involved, the go live timelines, which used to take at least, let's say, 30 to 40 days, we were able to reduce it to, close to 7 to 15 days. And this is the impact. And talking about the solution itself, like I said, we gave them one, simple dashboard through which they could create campaigns. This is about, let's say, if you're a banking customer, I'm sure each one of you here are, let's say you make a certain spend, be it via credit card or via net banking or something, you want to incentivize the user. Let's say you get a 500 rupees, a code. And this solution is exactly that, right? So through the back end, the department, whichever is in charge of, creating that particular campaign, they could create a campaign, send it for approvals, and the approvals, happens via email, they get a WhatsApp notification, and through that, they'll be able to approve it. And then the codes will be distributed to the customers, and the customers will come to a branded portal to redeem the rewards. And once they do, they'll see a list of all the brand vouchers to which, they want to redeem the reward against, and then they'll immediately be able to see their voucher details on the platform itself. So the entire process for the person who is actually giving the reward, and for the teams who are interested in the data, for example, here it is actually kind of tied to, the code is tied to the customer who is actually receiving the reward, right? So that is also taken care of in the sense that, let's say if you don't want the reward to be used by an external, some other person, he'll not be able to, because it is tied to the user receiving this reward, right? And some of the data analytics in terms of who the user is, how many of them have, what is the total redemption value, everything is available via the platform. Next, this is a interesting use case. A leading FMCG company, they were launching a new brands into the market, right? Now, the challenge what they have is, they want to see, so it's on ground, in the FMCG terminology, they call it the on-ground activations, right? So usually when you visit, let's say a Metro Cash and Carry or a Geo Mart or something, you would see a desk, which is, kept out there, where the person who is in charge of it, he'll be telling you to buy certain products, and then there is so what we did is, we gave them a simple to use WhatsApp-based solution for the end user, where to manage this entire on-ground activation. What do I mean by that? Let's say whenever a customer buys a product, right, which they're launching immediately the customer will scan a QR code, and then he'll be able to upload his bill. Through ML, we were able to identify whether the customer has actually bought that product, what SKU, what is the value of the SKU, and based on that, we were able to deliver him a scratch card depending on his spend behavior, right? If he has bought multiple products, then he would get a scratch card worth so-and-so, and then he was able to redeem this for a voucher again. Now, what is interesting about this is that, one, make it very easy for on-ground activation, because it is WhatsApp based. It's a matter of exchanging, a couple of messages on the WhatsApp, and everything is done at the back end, right? What amount, and this is all done by a rules engine, which is there in the back end, right? What if the amount is so much, the reward will be so much. And this delivered via a scratch card makes it much more interesting for the customer, because he'll be more inclined to say, okay, that benefit of seeing that, instant gratification is much more. And through this, traditionally, if you look at it for such activations, the engagement rate used to be around 10 to 15%. But what we could see is that through this platform, it increased up to 30 to 35%, a 20% increase, which was great for the brand as well as for the end users, right? Yeah. So, and this is again a very interesting, the reason I say interesting is because this was mainly targeted towards mechanics who are not very tech savvy, who are not, let's say, digitally aware as much. So the problem was this auto parts OEM wanted us to develop a solution which they wanted to give it through their distributors. Now, what we did, we developed a link-based solution for them. What this link-based solutions does is, for the distributor, because even though this is about digital reward experiences, the reason I call this a digital reward is that the reward was distributed via the distributors to the end customers via a printed, coupon, right? And this, through the back end, the brand was able to, kind of segregate into different zones, what are all the different distributors who are there. And then each distributor was given certain number of links. And whenever he had to give rewards to the mechanics for a certain region, he just used to click on a link, print it out, and hand over the vouchers. Earlier, the same process, if they had to deliver a same kind of experience or a voucher, first, they had to procure the vouchers, and then, distribute it via the courier partners or something. And the entire process used to take around, let's say, easily 15 to 20 days. Now, through this, once you envision a campaign, this entire go to live portion of it came down to 2 to 3 days max, right? So again, we got some very, very good feedback because of this, and also mainly because we targeted customers who are not really that tech savvy, so to say. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our part of our influencer marketing. What they do is a leading R&D, mobile brand R&D center. Whenever they launch a new phone, right? So what they do is they ship these phones to all these testers. Now, the job of a tester is basically to test and report bugs. So they wanted a platform to report these bugs and based on that, distribute certain rewards to the end users. Now, this entire platform of, managing these points and the rules engines to distribute those points, and then dispersing those points to the testers via WhatsApp campaign was very, very interesting in the sense that, again, earlier it was very transparent. The data was there for the mobile brand to see, the brands to see, and as well as for the end customer who is actually receiving the gift. The entire redemption process was so simple because for them, they don't really, except for all the communication was taken via WhatsApp. And because of that, and even the entire redemption process was up to the choice of the person who is receiving it, right? Because as ShakePe, we have partnered with close to 150 to 200 leading brands. So depending on what brand the tester is interested in to redeem his points, he was able to do that. Right? And this solution can easily be used by, let's say, for employee engagement. Right? Whenever for birthdays, for spot awards, if you want to reward your employees, and then the same portal can be white labeled as per your branding guidelines, and then the same portal can be used by the employees to redeem their gift vouchers. Yeah. And this is on the totally other segment of it. This is for a seeds company, right? Now, what we could see is this agri-seeds department, so to say, was a very, very difficult market. And for us to design the solution also took us a lot of time. We spent close to 3 months having to and fro discussions in terms of how do we reward the farmers, right? And the farmers to the distributors again. Now, what we did is we developed a QR code-based solutions. The way it works is that, let's say this is primarily a seed company, and the way seeds gets distributed is via distributors, right? So distributors buy a huge, let's say, carton of seeds, and each one may contain, let's say, up to 20 different bags. Now, we developed 2 levels of solutions here. One, for how do we reward the distributors, first step, and second, how do we reward the retailers, right? Now, there was 2 levels of QR codes. One on the carton itself, inside the carton, and one inside the seed, the seeds bag for the retailers who is in charge of selling it. Now these QR codes were actually tied to the seed bag as well as the carton. Now whenever, let's say it's either the distributor or the retailer, when he was actually selling this particular product, he could actually scan the QR code, and depending, because it knows, the QR code exactly knows what is the SKU, what is the carton type, everything, there will be certain number of incentives or the points associated with it, which will get credited into his account. And this account, you'll be able to see via this custom designed, custom developed app, right? He will create his account, scan the QR code, he'll see a scratch card. Depending on that, certain number of rewards will be added into his account. Now, because this is a custom developed app for them, the interesting part is, if you really look at how this entire thing, the agri industry works, there is something called as seasons, right? Every season, certain number of campaign is launched, and a certain number of target is given to the distributors as well as the retailers. Now, it will take close to 3 months until this campaign goes, and at the end of it is when you do reconciling. Traditionally, if you look at it, how this entire process used to work is distributing very similar things, scratch cards, but in the physical form, right? It used to be there inside the seed or the carton or something, and then they used to scratch, there used to be a code, and they physically had to ship it to the brand head office or something where the reconciliation used to happen. And for the entire process used to take 30 days before the campaign gets launched and 30 days after, 30 to 45 days after, right? Because the reconciliation process, sometimes what happens, someone has to manually look at it and say, okay, this particular code and this is the amount of rewards, what needs to be given. Now, interestingly, in some cases, there used to be returns, right? Let's say a seed back from the retailer, he was not able to sell it, but he has opened it. So he gets, he returns it. Now, from our side, what we did is we developed a similar mobile application for the person who is actually reconciling, right? When there is a return, when he actually scans the code, the number of points which was awarded to the retailer or the distributor gets automatically deducted, right? So if you look at it, the entire process, which used to take 3-4 months, and this is the actual data point, right? So which used to take 3-4 months, we were able to manage it to get it down to 15 days. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is, see, in this time and age, a one-size-fits-all solution will not work. And if you have to really, give a great reward experiences for all your stakeholders, for your customers and all that, what's important is to ensure what kind of a journey works for you and for your customers and design them accordingly. If you look at it, we have, we spoke about various things, right? We spoke about scratch cards, we spoke about QR codes, we spoke about links, we spoke about a portal and everything. So what we have at ShakePe is basically these building blocks, and depending on what your use case is, we are able to, pick and choose these building blocks one by one and tie it together so that we will be able to deliver a great reward experience for all your stakeholders, right? Yeah. So that's about it from me. If you have any questions related to rewards or delivering digital reward experiences, feel free, and I'm here.
We have time. There is a time for one question. Is there any question? Okay, I think it was crystal clear.
Either that or...
So thanks a lot, Mr. Reddy, for sharing your knowledge on rewards experiences. To facilitate, I would like to invite on the dais Mr. Kunal Desai,